Everybody that's not here right now, you will receive this via the magic of email. For you guys, we're going to talk about food. So I'm going to go over a little bit of the details of what this is all about. This is supposed to be fun, but I wanted to give people a chance to refocus on something before the holidays. Okay. So for all of us, we can always find little different ways to change our food. There is no set guide for this. This is very much a choose your own adventure. If you're like, I am going to have all the food on Thanksgiving and that's important to me, that's fine. That's your decision, right? And we'll work around those bounds, right? If you're like, I want to do something pretty intense and have a day off around Thanksgiving, great, we can do that too. So I'm going to talk about some baseline parameters that you should be following, and then from there we'll adjust and get specific, okay? To start, hello Teddy. Yes, please. All right. Who here has counted macros before? One. Great, perfect. So for you, you may hear some redundancy in this, but I'm going to adjust things specifically for you to help you out, okay? So first things first, what we're going to do is this. We're going to talk about that macro counting. What does that mean? First things first, macronutrient counting is talking about accounting for your proteins, carbs, and fats, okay? Every food has some kind of combination of protein, carbs, and fats with some exceptions. So like they're straight, simple syrups that are just carbs, or like processed egg whites are almost all protein, right? But for the most part, if you eat something that is a real tangible piece of food, that is going to have some combination of all three. What we want to do is figure out what that breakdown needs to be, and we want to get it to be consistent. Now, a lot of people have thoughts and opinions on different diets, whether it's ketogenic, this, that, the other thing, low carb. Almost all of them, the thing they share in common is that they reduce your total calorie count, right? And so calorie count goes down, you lose weight. It's a magical thing, right? So I don't have any issue with things like keto and paleo, but they do lend themselves to having an abundance of fat. Fat is the most calorie dense of all the nutrients, right? So if we start cooking everything in butter and lard, we're going to gain weight, right? It's just going to be some very simple math, right? If you reduce total carbohydrate consumption, and you replace that with some fat, you're fine, right? For us, what we're going to do is try to maintain a pretty even split where we're going to have about 40% carb, 30% of our calories come from fat, and 30% come from protein. Now again, we may play with that some and change it, but there's a really easy way that we figure that out, right? I'm going to follow up with you guys with this so you have it, so you can do it later if the math gets too fuzzy right now. But basically you're going to take a arbitrary number, we call it an activity level, but really everybody starts at the baseline number, which is going to be 11, right? And you're going to multiply that times your goal weight, right? So if you want to weigh 150 pounds, let's say, right? Or let's make it 200 because it's an even number, right? You would have, I believe, 2,200 calories. Yes, right? Now, what we need to do with that is say, okay, 2,200 calories, how do we figure out what this is? Okay? Very simply off the bat, right? This is fun math. 40% is going to be 220. Right? Then you're going to have your protein. You're going to figure this out by going off of a multiplier of your, basically your goal weight, right? So if the goal weight is 200 and you're a dude, you're going to do 0.9 grams of protein per pound.
You know what though? There's a reason I brought you that.
And then if you're a lady, you're going to do 0.8. And again, this is based off goal weight. So if you're like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds, like that may not be your goal weight. There may be more you still want to do, all right? Now, what this is going to do is yield you a protein number, okay? So for 200, if you're going to be going off 0.9, what is that going to be? That's going to be 180 grams, okay?
Later, guys.
Now, the remainder, there is a mathematical way to do it, or if you use MyFitnessPal, you can just kind of set the numbers, right? That makes it easy too. The mathematical way that we do it is that we add these two numbers together. So I'm gonna write it out because it's complicated, but it'll make sense. 220 plus 180 times 4, right, is gonna give you a big number, right? 1600, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to subtract that from this number. And then what you're going to do is you're going to divide that by 9 in order to get down to your fat number. So it's a very complicated process, okay? The much easier way to do it is to download MyFitnessPal. Just put in MyFitnessPal, okay? Because MyFitnessPal, their free version, has a default where it allows you to change your protein, carbs, and fats and this number, right? And so like what's gonna happen is that it may not be super neat, like it might be like 223 and 178. That's fine, right? So you figure out this, your goal calorie number, and then you plug that into MyFitnessPal, and that'll start to do it for you out of the gate, okay? So, with that said, we are gonna move on to using MyFitnessPal now, right? There's gonna be some tips and tricks that you can do to make it super easy. I forgot to grab my iPad, but I'm gonna do that right now really quick, because then everybody will be able to see it.
200's great goal weight. Great goal weight. 25 for me. That's a lot.
No, like I said, whole bunch of math.
That's his goal.
I just did that because I knew that he's holding my phone, so I don't have the
Sorry.
calculator. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I handed it to you, right? So I didn't want to have to do like fancy math. So when you get MyFitnessPal, right, looks like this, right? I can log in.
Fantasy football news. It's very important.
I know, right? Exactly. I put it on Do Not Disturb mode.
All the updates.
All right, so this is what your day is going to look like, right? It looks a lot different on an iPad versus the other, but everybody's setup is different. My setup is going to be a little bit different than what everyone else's may look like, okay? But what we can do is we can start to look at what a day looks like, right? So when you build in your foods, it's going to automatically change what you have left for the day. Now, I have the professional version, or the paid version, which makes one or two things simpler. The only thing it does is it shows you your numbers here. If you don't pay for it, it's going to show you some pop-ups, and then you just have to click this button and it shows you this page. So it's up to you, right? You really don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. If you want to, you can. On this page, what you're doing is you're trying to fill your bars. The only thing I care about is protein, carbs, and fats. That's it, right? It's gonna give you alerts about your fiber intake and your sugar and sodium and things like that. I don't care, right? Doesn't matter, right? Now, what you wanna do for these next couple weeks, and we're gonna come back to MyFitnessPal here in a second, is this, right? For some of you, if you have counted macros before, you're just gonna reach out to me and we're gonna have a sidebar conversation, because I'm just gonna give you a little simple thing to do that'll make it easy, okay? But for everyone else, this is what I wanna see for the next 2 weeks, right? We got 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, so no matter what, it should be fairly simple to clean things up a little bit, all right? This isn't like a complete strict super elimination thing if you don't want it to be, but here's what I'd like you to do. Eat things that are ingredients versus things that have ingredients.